What's up, everyone? We wanted to talk about what it's like to have us as a photographer for any kind of event or your senior photos, weddings, whatever it is you want us for. We can talk about what we do. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was like something that I learned in school was how to be a fly on the wall. The idea behind that concept is to just strictly let things happen naturally. I was at my friend's wedding and they had a videographer, and it was really sad because he came in and pretty much asked her to put something on her lips, and she was like, I'm not wearing anything on my lips. And he was like, well, just pretend. Well, it shouldn't happen that way. You shouldn't have to pretend about something. It should just all happen naturally, and we should get candid moments because I think that those are the best moments.
It definitely works better that way. Like,
yeah.
Not trying to be mad about my own wedding, but we were told to get ready at a certain time and that the photographer's going to be there, and she wasn't there on that exact time, and so we actually had already gotten dressed, and so we had to de-wardrobe and then re-wardrobe, and then everything was staged, and you could kind of tell. Not hating on that though.
Yeah, I mean, she was traveling that day. There's no telling whether she could have hit traffic or...
Accidents do happen.
Yeah, I mean, it always happens, but it definitely is important for the photographer to make sure that things are key with their client, you know, make sure that we're on time and that you guys are understanding what timeline we're running off of as well. And then, you know, the other thing that I really strive to, you know, make sure that for me, it's a massive importance, but I want to make sure that people get what they want. I would absolutely hate for someone to get to the end of their wedding day and be like, wow, I never got that photo that I wanted.
I missed a moment.
Yeah, and so I try to, as we like talk about your wedding day or senior moments, whatever, I want to make sure that if there's something that you want, like any specific image, like you go on Pinterest, you find something that you think is like what is ideal for your wedding day or anything like that, I want to make sure that we at least try to do it. Whether it works out or it doesn't, depending on what the photo is, you know, we just want to make sure that you get what you paid for. Yeah, I think there were some things that we just didn't really voice, and so I think that it's...
And not that we necessarily knew them at the time.
Yeah.
You know, or like thought that it needed to be said. So we definitely learned a lesson that hopefully we can provide everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, from don't count on anybody to read your mind. Definitely voice your opinion.
Yeah, and that's why we ask too, you know, is there anything specific that you want? Because we just want you to be happy at the end of your day and make sure that you get everything that you wanted.
Another thing for us is that we definitely leverage the fact that we're a male and a female.
Most would not think of that, but
well,
it is important.
For traditional weddings, at least, it comes into play, and also not trying to bash on our photographer at all. I think she had some issues, and usually her husband is involved. And so I had a female photographer in our dressing room, and you know, it's 7 or 8 of us dudes, you know, taking a couple shots and trying to have a good time, and when she showed up, like, obviously things changed. Like, we're gentlemen, so we're not going to be rambunctious in front of a lady.
Well, same thing for the women too.
Yeah, you're not going to be yourself if, like, I walked into a room full of females getting ready for their wedding. And there's times, like, I helped on a friend of our Kara's, like, she was a good friend of mine as well, and I helped on some of those photos, but I wasn't there the whole time, you know. There's definitely a mood that we try not to disrupt by putting the wrong sex in the room.
Yeah, I think it's important to make sure that people are always comfortable with their photographer, and obviously, like Dakota said, if you have a male coming into like the women's room to get ready for their wedding, it's a little awkward.
Yeah. I don't need to be there for that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and most would either be in robes or would like be already dressed, but we just want to make sure that like
everybody gets to have the natural time that they're planning on having. You know, it's fun days, so there's no reason for
We want to feel
a group
out of
to
place.
a group to come in and just kind of disrupt that. And we try to be really happy, fun people when we're there, and we are, and because we enjoy. I personally love shooting. It's so much fun to get to do that for somebody.
Yeah.
Currently, I don't do a whole lot on the back end, but getting there and shooting on that day is a blast. I love it.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was what exactly came within our price. Most of all, if you have a set time of when you're going to be there and you want us to photograph it, we're there. We're there from the time that it starts to the time that it ends. There's no
time limitations.
Yeah,
However long it takes, like, we're ready to be there because we know those moments you want captured could really be at any time. And, you know, they could happen at the very beginning of the day. It could be the last minute, everybody walking out the door. So there's no time constraints. You know, we're really willing to work around anything.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that we never limit the amount of images you're going to get back, because there might be some specific photographs that I like that fits your specific day. And that doesn't mean that, you know, they're all going to look the same, but every image,
Purposely, they're not going to look the same.
every image has its own character and its own vibe, and I just try to make sure that you guys get whatever fits your day or that time of place in your life. And I think that that's really important for people to know, that just because that one topic stresses me out more than anything, just because it saddens me
when people
to
narrow
see
photos.
so many photographers that come in and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be here only for 6 hours. Well, gosh, who knows how long the wedding's actually going to be?
Yeah, heck, you hope the party goes to all night. I mean, that's the ideal
and
scenario.
I don't want to cut off, you know, your time. Maybe like, gosh, I wish my photographer was there for this, and then they ended up not being because they only set their time limits for this amount of time. And then, you know, on top of that, only sending out a few images when really it should just be whatever fits. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to give you the raw edits. However, I will go down and I will find the images that I think best represents your day.
Yeah, so I mean, and all that takes a lot of time. The back end is where all of the time is, and so the reason that they set those limitations on images that you're going to get that have been post-produced is because that's where all the time is spent sitting behind a computer, or if we're doing film, you know, sitting, getting it developed, then scanning it, then touching it up to what we want it to be. But that's where all the time is, so that's why they set those limitations, because they're, you know, you get 500 pictures because they know about how long it's going to take them to do 500 pictures, but you may get 1,100 good pictures, and that just takes a much larger amount of time.
It
so
takes
we don't
a lot of time.
So we don't limit that, because why? If you have 1,100 good images, let's give you 1,100 and let you decide which ones that you want to share with people.
Yeah. And then kind of going off something that you briefly heard Dakota say is that I am a massive, massive film person. If you want to have this quote-unquote antique look to your wedding photos, senior pictures, whatever you want, I am happy.
We have a large collection of film cameras.
Yes, I love shooting on film. It's by far my favorite thing to do. And if you want that done, you just let me know, and I am your photographer.
We will work it. We will work it out.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's all that we have to talk about today. However, if there's anything that you want to ask us about, we are more than happy to answer that for you and try to help you, you know, get the best photographer for your situation and everything.
We try to cover what we can kind of assume as a consumer, now that we've been a consumer of a wedding photographer. But you miss things, so we just try to make sure we can cover as much as possible. So if you have any questions, let us know.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys, and hope to talk to you soon.
Have a good one.